Okay, thank you. Questions? We've got a microphone here, so please, right behind you, Mark.
Hey, Tiger. Can you, you've always talked about the process and when you swing and working with Sean and whatnot, and it's been a step-by-step thing. This is the first week in a while that you have a chance to actually regain the #1 ranking. You know, now that it is tangibly sitting there for you, if you're able to win this week, can you just talk about what it would mean to get back to that spot?
Well, it's been it's been a long process. I mean, I was hurt for a long time, and at the same time had to make swing changes that were drastically different than what I was doing before. And it's taken some time. I fell to 50 plus there for a while, and to gradually work my way back, that's something I'm proud of. And I've got 5 wins in the last couple of years, and that's that's something, as I said, I'm very proud of. And we're still getting better. As things are still becoming more efficient. These 2 wins I've had this year have been built myself some nice leads, and which means that I've played really well, and things are starting to come around and become more efficient day in and day out.
Right over here.
Tiger Woods, Bay Hill, what's made it such a great match over the years as you go for #8 this week?
It all started back when I was an amateur. I was a junior. This is the first junior I ever won. I was 15 and played here and won in extra holes, won the 19th hole. I think I beat Brad Zawetsky, maybe? Something like that. Is that right? How about that memory, huh? Not that old yet. It started then, and then obviously it was the first time I ever got the chance to meet Mr. Palmer, and he was there handing out some medals of guys who had played in I think 3 juniors, and there were only a handful of guys who had done that, and he was giving those guys some medals, and I said, I'd like to one day play in as many juniors as that, and it all started there. And then I met Arnold that week. He was here, and I came here and played prior to even playing Bay Hill in the tournament. I obviously lived right down the road in Alworth, and came out here and played in the shootout with him, and was paired with him, and unfortunately lost money to him too. So Arnold's been great over the years to not just myself but all the players out here, and anytime we can come back and support what he's doing, it's very special to us. And my 2 kids were born here at the Winnie Palmer, so this place in this tournament has a very special place in my heart.
Okay. Doug Ferguson.
Tiger, Snedeker made the point the other day, no matter what your results are, every time he sees you play coming back from however long a layoff, you're hitting the ball square on the grooves, if you will. Would you agree with that? And if so, how long has it been since you walked off the course and thought, no, you really stunk that day? If you know what I mean?
Yeah. It hadn't been this year that I felt that way. Probably the middle part of last year, I was more frustrated, not with my ball striking, just my lack of scoring, chipping and putting and just scoring, not making the crucial save here and there, and was very, very frustrated at times. But I've always enjoyed taking time off and practicing and preparing. And if you looked over my career, when I've taken breaks and come back, I've come back better. And that's just how I've always been. I've been one of those guys that practice. I practice really hard at home. I can work on different stuff, and there's a certain method to how I do it. Practicing and then playing more. When I come out here, I'm not just coming out here, rusty. I've played quite a bit of holes right before I come back. Well, when I've been healthy enough to be able to do it, and that's been the biggest difference. The last couple of years, I've been able to do that now, and hence the results have been, just so much better than they were, a few years ago.
How many rounds do you play a day?
If we don't have any weather and I don't have any other family obligations with my kids, then I'll get out there, and we've played as many as 54, 72 plus sometimes. We got to change carts so we can keep them going a little fast. We don't spend a lot of time. I think Rory's mentioned that before. We don't diddly-dally around, and we go out there and we play, and, and for a little bit as well.
Okay, Karen, and then pass it up to Mike.
So, Tiger, do you plan on reaching out to Rory for advice on how to be one half of a sports power couple?
Do I plan on it? No.
In a more serious vein,
Yeah.
why did you decide to come out with that, go public with the relationship now?
Well, it's very simple. We're very happy where we're at, but also we wanted to limit the stalkerazzi and all those sleazy websites that are out there and following us. And I've had situations where it's been very dangerous for my kids, and the extent that they'll go to. We basically devalued the first photos, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is in our society right now. And we felt like it was the best thing to do, and very happy about it.
Okay, over here, Brian.
Tiger, you've always been a historian of the game, and you're within 6 of Sam Snead's record. And I'm just curious to get your perspective, one on the record, sort of your perspective on it, and then secondly, just sort of the most impressive part about the record.
Well, I think that for me, I've been able to be as consistent as I have for the years I've been on tour, and to be able to have won that many times, year in and year out. That's something that I'm very proud of. And there's been a couple years where I didn't have the wins that I would like, but other years I've had some pretty good years. And Sam's did it for almost 30 years. Well into his early 50s he won. So it speaks to being consistent and just being there. And to pass Jack last year, and then I'm not that far away from Sam. It hasn't been easy, but also then again over the course of time I've put myself there so many times that I'd hope I'd cash in a few times along the way. And to have won triple digits around the world, it's something I'm pretty proud of in 17 years.
You think it's a mark that can ever be broken or will ever be broken, whatever the number ends up being? You think anyone will approach that?
I think it gets harder and harder with each generation. It's the talent pool gets better. Kids are getting more athletic. They're doing it earlier. I'm sure they're probably turning pro earlier than even I did. When I first came out here at 20, that was like, whoa, you're come out here pretty early. I'm going to get kids turning pro at 15, 16. It's different. They're going to have more years where they can win more tournaments, and it's not easy to do. And as I said, the talent pool is getting deeper, and the margin between, even when I first came out, the guy leading the tournament and the cut line was always about 12, 13, 14 shots. And now sometimes it's 9 or 10 shots. And 70-plus guys in the weekend within 9 or 10 shots, that gap's gotten smaller. And it's only going to get harder. So I'm sure that somebody will come out here who is bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, that'll win a bunch of tournaments. But you got to do it for a long period of time.
Okay, over here, Gary.
Tiger's statement, Tiger Woods is not completely back until he wins a major. Is that fair or unfair?
I think that's based on opinion. I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. I'm very pleased of where I've come from. As I said, from 50 plus to where I'm at is no small task, and I'd like to get to 19 plus myself.
Okay, over here, Steve.
Well, kind of leading into that, you're in.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, thanks. You're and Jack's career arc are kind of intersecting here at a point when he was 37 to the stage in terms of career starts and victories and everything. What does that tell you about your career clock and how much more time you might have to win these things?
Yeah, you know what? Jack did it till he's 46, and I just feel like over the years he was the most consistent at putting himself in position to win major championships and win tournaments. If you look at his playing schedule, he didn't really play that many events. He played under 20 most of his career. He was prepared when he did play. I felt like something I've done, and you know, you start realizing that it gets a little bit more difficult as you get a little bit older to balance. You have more things that are going on. I mean, he had, I think, 5 kids, I think he had, and you know, trying to balance the family, and he had golf course design. He owned McGregor at the time, a bunch of different things going on. It becomes more things are pulling at you away from, you know, winning golf tournaments, and it's about getting the balance, and that's just life. He was better than anybody else, and you know, hopefully that over the course of my career, when all said and done, that I was pretty good at as well.
Right here.
Tiger, in your mind, is it ever good enough to be ranked as number 2, and what does it take for you to get back as number 1?
Well, to get back to number 1, just got to win this week. Not too complicated. It's as far as, you know, getting back to number 1 and all that it entails. It's not easy to get there in the first place. I don't think people, you know, really realize how hard it is to become number 1 in the world. But also then to sustain it for a number of years is not exactly easy as well. So it's just about winning golf tournaments, and when you don't win, be able to you know, be in the top 5 and continue you know, racking up points.
Do you think you can become as good as you once were?
I don't want to become as good as I once was. No, I don't. I want to become better.
Do you think you're going to achieve that?
We'll see.
Okay, over here, Tom.
Tiger, when your ranking dropped into the 50s, as you alluded to, how did you view the probability that you would return to 1? At the low point, wherever you view it?
I just needed to get healthy. And once I got healthy and I was able to practice properly, I felt that then I could implement the swing changes that, you know, Sean wanted me to put in there, and I would get back there. But I needed to get healthy enough where I could practice. It happened to be a perfect storm where I was making a swing change and I was hurt and I couldn't devote any time to it. And the philosophies are so different that I needed the time, and I didn't have the ability to practice and spend the hours I needed to in my game. And once I was able to do that, slowly but surely, I started to gain momentum, and you know, here we are.
In the midst of all that, Tiger, what doubt did you have?
I didn't have the doubt that I think people might have expected. I just felt that I needed to get healthy enough where I you know, things just didn't hurt. I've always been pretty good in my career when I could practice, and I think that my record reflects that. But I just wasn't able to do that, and now I've been able to do that for the last couple of years, and you can see the results now.
Right here, Shed.
Yeah, just something a little bit off topic, but you did mention your junior amateur win here, and you had a tremendous amateur career. It's a Walker Cup year. Wondering where the Walker Cup fit into the things that you were able to do as an amateur.
Yeah, I played in one Walker Cup only, and we played, I think, a Royal Porthcawl, and we lost. It wasn't a whole lot of fun to lose there, and we had a great team too. We had a bunch of guys from Stanford and Okie State that were on the team. And we also some older guys that were on there with who was on there? Tim Jackson, Alan Doyle, John Harris. We had a pretty stout lineup, and we unfortunately didn't get it done. I wish I would have been able to win a Walker Cup. I've only won one Ryder Cup. The other year that they won, I was out watching from the couch. And then, so the Walker Cup was a bunch of fun. We had a great mix of guys, and been a Walker Cup year, and I hope they do it.
All right, back over here with Doug.
You're a beauty.
Going back to number 1 for a minute, I'm not suggesting that you ever thought it was easy, but if you take that stretch from those 2 5-year stretches, you probably never thought about it. When you got out of the top 10 for a good chunk there, did that make you appreciate more how hard it was than when you were in the middle of winning a ton and staying there?
No. I've always known how hard it is to spend the time out there, to work, to lift all the weights and do all the training, and to spend the time and devotion that it takes to get there. It's not easy. One thing I did take for granted over the time is the ability to be able to play full schedule. And there were times when it was pretty easy. And then when I was out, it was frustrating. I think 08 was probably the hardest year, because it was the first time I've missed major championships. That stung quite a bit, and to be able to be on the couch and knowing that I had just won an Open and I can't play in the other 2 major championships, that was frustrating. And unfortunately, I've missed some more as well after that. That's not a lot of fun for me. But in order to do that, you got to be healthy, and I think that's one record in history that'll never be broken, is Jack's major streak of just playing in the events. Forget just playing in. If you play in if you even play in let's say 20 or 30 majors, you've had a pretty darn good career. And what are you playing there? 146. It's crazy, isn't it? Playing 146 tour events is pretty good.
Tiger, you mentioned the Ryder Cup there a few minutes ago. I just wondering what your reaction is to Tom Watson's decision to change the captain's picks from 4 to 3.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. I just heard about it on the golf course today, and I think it went from 4 to 3. I didn't hear the reasoning of why he did it. I just heard it went from 4 to 3.
I guess given a chance to sort of more players to qualify automatically.
Well, one more player.
Sure. and as a follow-up, he did mention that going to Glen Eagles next year and playing a course which is a regular tour event for the European Tour, like the US team faces an uphill battle. I guess you support that, do you?
I guess over the years they've chosen sites that they've played on a regular basis, where it's been Valderrama, Belfry, K Club, Celtic Manor, and now Glen Eagles. All the years that I've been part of the teams, those are tour events that they've played. But also, I think that's also part of the deal of getting the Ryder Cup as well, that they actually have to have a tour event there for X number of years. So, we'll see. We'll see what that entails, and we'll have our practice time. Hopefully, the weather will behave, so that we can get practice time in there. Obviously, a lot of you guys were there in Wales when we weren't able to practice, and we weren't able to see the golf course. So, hopefully, we can get that in. Oh, there you go.
All right, over here, Mark.
Tiger, Arnie was in here a little while ago, and he sounded a little disillusioned about the fact that Rory wasn't playing, and he thought that he was going to play here and whatnot. I'm not asking you to criticize Rory in any way, because you guys all make your own schedules, but it seems like a lot of the players come here over the years, you as a youngster, and kind of pay homage to Arnie. I just wondered, do you see that as kind of generational thing at all? Are you a little surprised that Rory's not been here before and is not here? I'm just kind of curious about that, without, obviously.
Yeah, well, he played a limited schedule to begin with. Last year, I think this, last year was his first year, I think, as a member of the tour, and this is only his second year, and there is a big difference this year, and we have 2 weeks before the Masters. That has a little bit to do with it, I think. Some of the guys are taking this week off and then playing 2 in a row in Texas to get ready. Some guys are playing 1, and it's a different schedule than it has been in the past.
Okay, we've got time for 2 more. I know we've got a lot of hands, but we're going to go Ping and then Bob Harrigan, then we got to cut it off.
Tiger,
sorry. Yeah.
Next week, your video game 14 comes out. You're here at Arnold's event. He's on the cover with you.
Yeah.
Just what is it like? He shares the cover and he's in the video game, and I'm sure you've seen what his likeness looks like in it, because going back as a young man, it's pretty cool.
It was actually more cool actually do the commercial shoot with him. That was pretty neat, and to see Arnold move like that, you'll see it in the commercial. He did all the stunts himself. All of them.
He's in the video. What is it like him involved?
Well, having involved in the video game, I think it's fantastic. I mean, this is a different generation. We've had the younger guys and Rory and Ricky on there, and now to have to have the legends part of the game. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, it's different to have the guys who have grown up with video games, and you know, my generation, that's all we did, as we were gamers from a very early age. I don't know if Arnold's ever played, but to have him part of the game and understand that this is now the next generation, and for him to be part of this game has been so much fun. And as I said, the stunt scenes were all him.
Okay, last question from Bob back here.
Tiger, since you last won the Masters, other than last year, you were pretty much right there every Sunday. Just wondering how frustrating has that been? I guess those 6 years of the last 7. And do you find that major to be the most frustrating of all of them in that period for you, especially given all the success you had there previously?
Right. You know, it's been one of those things where I've been close there so many times on that back 9 on Sunday, and I just haven't won. I've been in the mix. I've been on the periphery and played myself into the mix. I've been right there with just a few holes to go, and it just hasn't happened. You know, hopefully this year it'll be a different story, and I'll put myself there, and then you know, hopefully I have Bubba put the jacket on.
I also just wondered, was 06 maybe the toughest? It seemed like that was the one you wanted the most because of your dad. You know, and you were in that one. I don't know if that was the best chance you had to win, but it seemed like maybe that was the one you were the most frustrated by.
That one hurt the most of any tournament that have failed to win. I've lost tournaments before, and I've been through some tough defeats over the years, but nothing like that, because I knew my dad would never live to see another major championship. And at the time, going to that final round, and then on the back 9, as I admitted to you guys, I pressed, and I tried to make putts that, you know, instead of just allowing it to happen, I tried to force it. I knew he was at home watching, and just really wanted to have him be a part of one last major championship victory. And I didn't get it done, and it hurt quite a bit. Obviously, I didn't do very good at Winged Foot that year, and but I won the British Open, and it's one of the reasons why I bowled like a little baby, is that he was never going to be there again. But that Masters hurt, and there's never been another defeat that's felt like that. Yeah, Bob.
Do you put any stock in the whole Tiger proofing thing? I mean, that whole notion in the early 2000s when they toughened the course, has it been harder for you to win because of what they've done?
Well, obviously I haven't won, but I've been in the mix, and it's still advantageous to hit the ball long there and hit the ball high. And you look at most of the winners have all been able to move it out there, whereas Phil or Bubba or Angel, you go around down the list, not too many guys are of the shorter version of Trevor or Weirzy. You know, most of the guys can hit the ball up in the air and they can move it. You still have to play the par 5s well, and it still helps to be long into those par 5s. And there are certain weeks and certain times when guys have wedged it unbelievably well and have been successful, been shorter. Zach being one of them, never went for the par 5s in 2 ever, all 16 of them. So I think that's rare, but you look at most of the guys within the top 10 who have a chance to win on Sunday, they're all long hitters.
Okay, well, thanks for your time today, Tiger.
Thanks, guys.
Best of luck. I think Bubba's right out